Hey everybody, welcome back to our movie review. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. I went to check out a mystery movie once again. Uh, had some ideas as to what it might be. It might be Expendables. Just very small feeling that it might be Exorcist, and thankfully it wasn't either of those two. It was actually something that I was interested in seeing. That film being Dumb Money, which was written and directed by Craig Gillespie, I think that's how you say his last name. Most recently directed Cruella, starring Emma Stone, which I actually liked. It wasn't too bad. Um, has a all-star cast with Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Sebastian Stan, Anthony Ramos, as well as Saline Woodley. I forgot how you pronounce her name, but and a bunch of others. I think Pete Davidson is in there. Yeah. And it details the story of the GameStop stock uh, incident that happened with people betting on GameStop, and getting the stocks to rise up, and hence the poor to get more money, and the rich suffer as a result. Um, and it's focused through Paul Dano's character, who is a YouTuber who is fascinated by stocks and puts a lot of hope on GameStop to hopefully just to rise up and to hence gain more money. And with the film, what I believe the film represents more so than I think that it actually is about levels of greed and the consequences to being in such levels of greed. And I think that mostly, it's depicted through both sides. Really, the film wishes to lean more towards the rich folks and showing that how they're, how Wall Street's all criminal and all that sort of stuff, and they absolutely are. When you see the story play out, um, the problem with the narrative is that there's a bias that is inserted into it that is so abundantly clear and so obvious, that anybody who watches that story play out, if you don't think about the morality of what the story is about, I look at the poor side of the story, and I think, yeah, you guys are also evil too. You guys are also crooked, and also, and it's like the types of people that went into this sort of thing. It's like these are not people that are deserving of wealth anyway, because they put themselves in shitty situations. You have Anthony Ramos' character who's at GameStop and he's like complaining, oh, I don't have all this money, blah, blah, blah. And then you have these fucking college girls who are just fucking junkies and just, willing to basically do anything. Um, basically like thoughts type girls, and, putting hands in each other's crotches and stuff like that. Like, very crude and just like, just like, just stupid, just kind of dumb people in some, yeah. So, um, and it's like, to me, I just never found sympathy with the characters. I never found these characters that likable. Even Paul Dano's character, who, even though he has all this ideas and stuff like that, like nobody ever asked themselves, Wall Street is scum, and Wall Street will do anything to cover their own asses, even if it is, even if it means killing us in the process. It's like, you don't poke the bear, okay? Because what the bear will ultimately do is bite you, and that's what happens in the story. And I saw that, and it's like the movie is trying to represent it in a certain way, and that's not what it is. What it is a story of greed and people who made who made bets and got punished for it. I mean, sure, they were able to get some money out of it, and then it makes it seem like, oh, now they're like, they're all gonna be okay and stuff like that. And it's like especially Anthony Ramos' character, who I think is just a complete shithead. If that is a good representation of how that person is in real life, that is a complete shithead. And I would like to see a spin-off with that movie, for a movie for that guy, and see where that guy is at. Pretty sure not in a good spot, but because it's like the thing about finance is all about management, and people, you know, like you saw. I think there's also like this nurse, like, and just like, it's like, yeah, it's based on career choices as well. It's like, the same thing with Paul Dano's character. It's like, yeah, it's based on career choices. It's based on making, you know what I mean? It's like there's other factors at play here. It's like, people like to blame Wall Street and the rich for all their problems. It's like that's not really not really what's at play here. It's more or less your shitty decisions. Like you look at Seth Rogen's and the characters. Like yeah, I think that like the thing that the movie does is that they have a more there's more realism with the poor than there are with the rich. The rich, there's this exaggerated quality that's represented. Like there's Seth Rogen's or one of these characters has like a pig in their house or something like that, and like such and such is happening. Like there's very exaggerative things at play that feels exaggerative. And then you go over to the poor side, there's more of a realism and more of an authentic approach to things. But again, certain bias and an ignorance at the same time. So I think that it's something that is not being represented honestly, and with that, you get something that is clearly um, favoring a certain side and making a blind statement as a result. So because um, it's not about a person beating the rich, because like he doesn't beat the rich, he doesn't, and then the movie makes a big point of like, oh, that hopefully this thing will never happen again. It's like it won't, or no, like that exaggerative thing where it's like, oh well, maybe it might happen again. Who knows? And I don't know what the fuck is going on with those guys, but whatever. Um, but you get what I'm saying. It's like yeah, that's Wall Street for you. That's what they do. They cover their own ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you expect? It's like, um, and for you to put yourself in that position, it's like, yeah, you're gonna fuck yourself over too, and that's pretty much what happened. So, um, it's like, I don't have sympathy for people who put themselves in these situations. It's like you're just fucking yourself over. You know what I mean? And I don't also see morally where you have earned such money. And I think the film just doesn't present a good argument for that. So but beyond that point though, like speaking more about the film proper though, because ultimately my issues stem from the moral point that the story is trying to bring up, which I think is a very ignorant point, an ignorant statement being represented. Um, you have performances that are fine. Some are charming, some are just annoying. Like I said with Anthony Ramos' character, I just found him very, very annoying, and those two girls, like just. Ugh. But um, I think that I'm not into the whole TikTok social media craze that's played up a lot in this film, and I think that just in terms of a craftsmanship, there is something of a unique quality to it. Um, but what it suffers from the most is a understanding narrative and having and building an attachment, where I can find myself understanding, of both sides, because ultimately I'm ultimately looking at you know like the thing that they both carry is the thing that the movie doesn't want to admit to, is that they're both greedy and they're both driven by greed, and they both make blind bets and make poor decisions, and thus get screwed over in the end. Like I don't get how people don't see that, you know, or I don't get how the film is not seeing that, So, um, and because that's what's ultimately coming across the most, So, um, but I think that ultimately it's not without engagement. I mean, like I said, there is a presentation to it that is unique, a structure that is not boring, and ultimately the performances are just fine. Um, but I think that the storytelling like itself, I feel, is just very blind and just very ignorant, and thus the entire time I was just sitting there, just like I know what it's really about, but I don't think it's itself knows what it's really about, and that's the problem. It's not an understanding of its own narrative, and with that, you get something that is, I wouldn't say irritating, but just kind of just like what is it, like, just kind of uh just, I don't know, just I don't know what the word is, but it's just like the whole time there I was just like, yeah, it's not that, it's not that, and it's not that either, you know, like it's making a very youthful like statement, you know, about like, you know, the poor rise up and take care of those horrible rich folks, you know what I'm saying? But that's not how it really is. You know, it's a very youthful and very spirited type message, but it's ultimately also a very ignorant message. And thus, what you get out of the movie is something more ignorant than understanding, in some cases more irritable than relatable and and just just charming, you know. So it's okay, but I really don't agree with the ideas that the movie is bringing up, and the representation of those messages. I feel just are not um, are not uh, appropriate or understanding really at all. So those are my thoughts on Dumb Money. I thought it was. But you guys, want your thoughts on Dumb Money? If you guys have seen it, let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.